DeLorean Motor Company is probably the best known automotive brand that really hasn't had a new car in the last 40 years. There's not many brands that evoke the same kind of reaction from people. Someplace in the world right now, one of those 3 Back to the Future movies is on TV, and somebody's being exposed to the DeLorean for the first time. I'm James Espy. I'm the president here at the DeLorean Motor Company. There's about 2,600 parts that make up a DeLorean. We have about 3.5 million individual pieces here in the building, and that number is constantly growing. As we run out of widgets, we go out and find new widgets, and that's primarily my day job here.
I'm Stephen, the CEO and owner of DeLorean Motor Company. I always had a bigger vision for the brand of DeLorean. Along the way, was able to acquire all of the parts that were from the bankruptcy of DeLorean. The bankruptcy was actually bought out by a company called Consolidated International, which has now morphed into Big Lots, believe it or not.
For them, it was a closeout inventory, just like a bunch of toasters or a bunch of tennis shoes. They bought all the unsold cars and all the parts. Stephen had been in the DeLorean business that time for about 10 years and decided, well, to control my destiny, I have to control the parts.
Well, the main focus for us is to keep cars on the road. And to do that, we have to keep parts availability. You know, as cars get older, generally the availability of parts shrink. And it's been our mission to increase that availability and keep more parts available so people can keep the cars on the road safely as well.
Sometimes as I'm walking down the aisles here and just seeing all these 40-year-old, literally millions of DeLorean parts that most people in the world don't realize still exist, it's a neat feeling.
I think DeLorean owners always have a connection with John DeLorean.
In 1975, John DeLorean quit General Motors and started his own company to build a sports car.
So VIN 6882 was always on our radar of something that we should look for because we knew it was one of John DeLorean's company cars. We actually found the car. It was actually in a field north of Miami, having been probably abandoned would be the best word for it. And sure enough, we verified the VIN number and it was 6882, which was one of John DeLorean's company cars.
Every car manufacturer has what they call executive cars that come off the line, they give to the top executives to drive and get a feel for what the product is. This is probably the latest company car that John DeLorean ever had assigned to him.
There was a bit of hail damage to the car, the T-top being more damaged than the rest of the car. And then as we started the collaboration talks with REC, we decided then that this is the piece that we should use for the watches.
John DeLorean was the kind of guy who a very rugged individualist, and he was known for the watches and timepieces that he used to wear. So to have a piece of John DeLorean's company car in this watch.
Pieces from the car that he touched and drove. I think for the collectors, that's crazy.
Over the last 40 years, I've collected every type of DeLorean memorabilia that you can come up with. So something like this watch that has an actual piece of John DeLorean's company car built into it, I think is going to be a real cool thing for the die-hard collector and even the people who just like a really nice looking watch too.
Of the small piece that we were able to harvest from the car, that they were able to achieve so many pieces, that's really cool.
Super excited to present this collaboration between DMC and Rec Watches. The SPX DeLorean.
I'm just so proud of this collaboration.